I keep getting questions about what is the one money saving hack or what is your trick for saving money on this? And so I decided this is perfect. We will just start a new series, and this is going to be 5 actionable tips that you can do at home that can save you money on a product. So this week we are going to be talking about chicken. And fun fact, chicken is one of the most widely consumed meats in the US because, for the most part, it is very affordable. But if you are buying your chicken just kind of willy nilly every week, you may notice that some weeks you pay $4, $5, $6 a pound. Other weeks you may get it as low as $3 a pound. So let's go over some actionable tips that you can do each and every week where we can save some money on that chicken. So let's go to number one. Now, I know we all have preferences about what type of chicken. So some people prefer dark meat, some people prefer, white meat. Personally, I'm always a fan of chicken breasts. My second favorite is going to be like chicken tenderloins, because those are just, to me, very versatile. But if you have a preference, I want you to really concentrate on price per pound. Now, I've shown 3 things here. The first one is a small pack of chicken breasts. This is about, I think, 3 pounds. And look at the price per pound. It's $3.27. The second option is frozen. It's a 3-pound bag. And then the last one is the bigger 5-pound bag. So you can see that price per pound can vary widely depending on how you're buying the chicken. So within your budget, I would really, really look at all the different ways: fresh, frozen, bulk. Now, you would think that bulk would always be cheaper, but that's not always the case. So definitely keep an eye on like sales flyers and different weekly specials going on, because there are times that this smaller pack is much cheaper per pound. So just always keep an eye on those 3 things, and that right there will save you a ton of money. Oh, as a bonus, buy that in bulk. So when you find a really good price, you have it in your budget, and you have the freezer room, go ahead and stock up when that price is low, because then you are no longer at the mercy of what chicken prices just happen to be that week. You can get ahead and you can eat chicken every week at that super low price. So let's go to the next one. Now, it does not matter if you're buying a rotisserie chicken, if you're buying any kind of chicken that still has the bone. If you're throwing those bones away without using them, you're just throwing away money. Yeah, seriously. So all you need to do is take those bones, whether it's a full chicken, really anything. Now, I don't particularly like to do this with bones where people have eaten directly off the bone, but this is more for like if you've pulled the bones away and people's mouths aren't on them, just as like a germy thing. Throw those bones in a crock pot or a big stock pot. Fill it up with water if you have it. Put in like your veggie scraps. Yeah, all those peelings from when you peeled potatoes, or if you peeled carrots, really any veggie scraps. Put them in there. Let it just simmer for a couple hours, and you just made free chicken stock. Do you know how much just a carton of chicken broth is? Could be $1 to $2. That's an easy savings, and you were just going to throw it away. I had a fun little discussion with a friend of mine the other day. She happens to absolutely love chicken wings. And honestly, I'm not that big of a fan, because to me, there is more bone than there is meat on a chicken wing. So keep this in mind when you are buying chicken on the bone. Are you paying more for the bone, or are you paying more for the chicken? So in this picture, you can see where it's chicken wings, $3.28 a pound. And this is, I believe, 3.5 pounds. It's going to take 4 or 5 chicken wings per person to have a meal. So even though this is a good amount weight-wise, it's going to go pretty fast. Whereas this 10-pound bag of chicken leg quarters, trust me, you couldn't serve a whole chicken leg quarter to a person and say, hey, that's not enough. Okay? So I really want you to consider how much meat you're getting for the price per pound. This will make a huge difference when you're meal planning and you're trying to keep your budget low. You want to go for more meat than bone, unless it's kind of a splurge and you really want chicken wings, and then buy the chicken wings. Number 4, this is something that we talk about a lot during our weekly meal plan videos. Very simply, batch cook when you can. Chicken is a great one to batch cook. Whether you're baking it, you're grilling it, you're putting it in the crock pot, really any method will work. You just go ahead and cook not just enough for tonight, but for either another night or even multiple nights. Cooked chicken is so easy to just pull it off the bone if it has a bone, go ahead and shred it or chop it up, put it in a bag. Boom, your chicken is ready for the next night. If you're not going to eat it again right away, put that bag in the freezer. Not only have you just saved time, but you saved money as well. Because instead of having to heat up your oven or your grill or wherever multiple times, you do it all at once. It's going to take the same amount of time. It's going to take the same amount of effort. So just go ahead and double up your meat that you're cooking, and then bam, you've just saved time and money. That's always my favorite combo when it works out. I mentioned before that I am a huge fan of chicken breasts, and I typically buy these big bulk containers. They're usually anywhere from 5 to 6 pounds. Now, here's the thing, there's usually 6 to 8 breasts in one of these containers, and they are massive. They are huge. Sometimes they weigh a full pound. And honestly, most of my meals that I cook at home, I use about a pound of meat for the whole meal. Well, when you leave them in these big, huge chunks, not only does it take longer to cook, but it's just going to be a lot of meat. If you're keeping them in these big states, you may need to use 3, 4, 5 of them just for one meal for a family. So what I like to do is I take these big, huge chicken breasts and I slice them in half. So therefore now, we had 6 to 8 to start with. Now I have 12 to 14. In some cases, even those are still really big. So then I cut each one in half. So really, when you think about it, I'm taking one chicken breast, slicing it in half, and then slicing it in half again. Now I have 4 big pieces of chicken that I can make a whole meal with, and everybody gets their own portion. And then now I've got the rest for all these other meals. So consider breaking it down. Now, I just go ahead and break down the whole thing. I put them in the Ziploc type bags, or we have a food saver, and so I just do the vacuum sealing, and then I freeze them. So that way, when I'm ready to use it, I just have to defrost it and use it. I don't have to then again cut it down. Every once in a while, I go to cut one and I just make a wonky cut. It just doesn't work out. So what I do is I save all the pieces that are just not quite perfect, and I go ahead and dice them up. And then I put them in the vacuum sealer bag. And then now, if I wanted to make like something that's going to use small pieces or diced chicken, boom, it's already pre-cut. I defrost it and I use it. So once again, we're going to save time and we're going to save money on this one. I'm going to call this a bonus tip, but this could actually be very much a rant for me. I have actually had discussions with people that said, oh, well, I was going to make this, but it called for chicken breasts and all I have is chicken thighs. Let's throw out the recipe police for a little while. You do not have to follow a recipe exactly. Just because it calls for chicken breasts and you have chicken thighs, go ahead and make it. Unless it's a stuffed chicken breast and you have bone in thighs, it's still totally doable. The flavors are going to be the same. And then now you've just learned another option. I want you to look at recipes as formulas of methods of cooking, not a set rule where you have to have every single item and every single ingredient in its original state. You can switch this up. And so I don't know how we got into this where people just feel like they have to follow a recipe exactly. But let me tell you, especially recipes that call for like chopped up chicken or pre-cooked chicken, it doesn't matter if it's pre-cooked chicken breast, pre-cooked chicken thighs, could be leg meat. It doesn't matter. You can switch it out to wherever you are. And as soon as you get that concept through, you will just save a ton of money because now you're kind of thinking outside of that little box. Really, the saving money is outside the box. So hopefully today we've gone over 5 plus a bonus tips that are really actionable and things that you can do this week to save money on chicken. I'm going to continue this series and I have a couple ideas already, but I want to hear from you. What is something that you would love to learn how to save money on? This way, I can really put out content that you personally need. And I guarantee you, if you're thinking it, somebody else is thinking it too. So just drop me a comment, tell me, this is what I would love to learn about. And then also tell me, do you do any of these tips that I mentioned? Are there any other ways that you save money on chicken? Let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye.